The cheesecake shouldn't go here. The plates are way down there. This food layout is really inefficient.
I never would do it that way. Who's in charge of this party anyway?
It's not a party, it's a fundraiser for hurricane victims. Try to focus on doing something good for others.
Yeah, I think it's nice. I'm sure they did the best they could. Everybody's having a good time, right? Right?
Woohoo! Cheesecake. I love cheesecake. Want some, Blue?
These slices aren't cut in isosceles triangles. Besides, in 3 minutes and 30 seconds, I should be getting a phone call from a preschool. We need to find the perfect school. My daughter's going to be born in 8 months, you know.
Oh, you'll just love being a parent.
You're smart to start looking early. There never seems to be enough time to get all the things done that need to get done.
There's more important things than where your daughter goes to school, like achieving better education for everyone.
Better education? I thought this was a party for hurricane victims. I knew I should have organized this party. Amateurs.
The mechanical bull's here. Let's go, let's go.
You need a permit to operate one of those. I didn't see any of the appropriate paperwork. Does anyone see a file cabinet?
We won't raise enough money without the mechanical bull. Think of the children.
Listen, I got this. I'll just make a call and get the permit here ASAP.
That's so good of you, Red. Anyone need anything from the kitchen? Everyone okay?
I beat your record again, Blue. Want a rematch?
Oh my gosh, we've raised so much money. And it's because we all came together.
Yay! Okay. So that video always makes me laugh. I've probably seen it like 100 times, but I still think it's so funny. So watching that video and like knowing your personality, primary color, could you pick out yours? Did you think it was accurate? What do you think? You can just raise your hand and share what your primary color is and kind of what you thought about it relating to the video. You want to go first? I'll go. So I'm a three-way tie between green, blue, and purple, which is pretty accurate. I think at work, I am definitely a blue and a purple. I like things done a certain way, right? I like to get things done, super organized, and everything I do, I want to make sure that I do it, you know, to the best of my ability. So that's for sure. I really value fairness and making sure everybody does the right thing. So that's where my green comes in a little bit. So watching that video, it's very accurate for sure when it comes to me and my primary colors. So who wants to go next? What is your primary color, or what did you think about the video? Did you think it was pretty accurate? Sydney, what do you think?
I thought the video was quite funny myself. And yeah, mine is I'm way high on the orange, and then the yellow is right behind it.
Okay.
And then yeah, which is pretty true. My blue and purple were absolutely in the bottom of the barrel, which is also true. So.
Very interesting. So you're orange, like that's pretty good. So orange, so y'all are the ones who drive me absolutely crazy sometimes, right? Because I'm like, no, we have to do it this way and we have to get it done by this period. And then the oranges are like, no, we're gonna have fun. But we definitely need y'all around because we don't want a bunch of blues and purples running the world, because it would just be too organized, right? So yes, who else wants to share? Or I'll start this way. How about this? What do you think? What was the color that was like super focused on tasks? The primary color that wanted to get all the tasks done. What do you think? Definitely purple, I think, right? Purple is definitely the one who wanted to get all the tasks done. We talked about orange. Orange was the one that wanted to have fun. Yellow, I love when yellow was like, does anyone want anything from the kitchen? Like, you're doing such a good job. If you think about people's jobs, I kind of think of like social workers as kind of the yellow category, like, oh, you know, we want to make sure you're taken care of. Family advocacy, I definitely have some coworkers who are in the yellow primary color because, you know, we want to make sure everybody's okay and we want to take care of them. Green, or they were really concerned about raising enough money for the children, right? Those are also your recyclers. Like if you have somebody who likes to recycle a lot, they're probably very, worldly conscious. So if some of those fall into a green. Who else? Red. So red was interesting. I don't know if y'all caught this, but at the beginning, red was like kind of grouchy, like, oh my gosh, I should have planned this party, right? And then at the end, what did red do in the middle? Red came in, right, and said, I'll get the permit for you. So they came in and took charge. So even though they were grouchy a little bit at the beginning, they still came in and saved the mechanical bull, right? So I think that video is pretty accurate. I like it. So now let's share and let's talk about what is your favorite part of being whatever primary color you were. So we're going to go to the second page in your participant packet, which is the wheel. I'm going to share my screen so that you can see the wheel and kind of look over that with your primary color in mind. And let's go over just a little bit here. So red, definitely a need for power and control. Oranges are those ones who need excitement, they need attention. But what's interesting is there's two types of oranges. So you've got your back row oranges, and those are the ones who are like cracking out, like having fun, joking around. And then you have your front row oranges, which are kind of the ones that they want to be the center of the stage, but they want to be heard and they want to be in the front, right? So there's kind of two different oranges. Yellows, their need for approval. Greens, need for harmony. Blues, need for order. And purple, need for accomplishment. So looking at this primary color wheel, who wants to share your primary color and what you like best about it? I'll go first. So I'm mostly a blue, and what I like most about that is that I'm super organized. Sometimes I'm too organized where I forget where I put things because it's too organized, and I'm like, this is crazy. So yeah, my favorite part about being a blue is being organized. So who wants to go first? Let's share your primary color and what you like best about it. Okay, Alexandra, what's your color?
Hey, good afternoon. My primary color is purple.
Purple. What's your favorite part of being a purple?
Getting things done.
Right.
I am the kind of person where I set expectations and timelines of when things should be done. It kind of goes into like the organized piece of things, but it's also a downfall because I expect others to make those types of adjustments, you know what I mean, and set timelines themselves. And so my expectation is really high, and sometimes it comes a little bit low, and I just need to realize, hey, that's just my personality. That's what I like, and then just realize that others might not go at the speed that I do.
Yeah, that's perfect, and you're exactly right. Like, yes, definitely getting stuff done, but then having that expectation that other people have that same level of like workflow, work quality of work, and it doesn't always happen that way. So I completely understand that for sure. For sure. Sometimes do you write things on your to-do list that you've already done just so you can cross it off?
I do.
It's okay, because I do it too. I'm like, okay, I already cleaned the bathrooms, but I'm going to write it on my list just so I can go. So I completely understand that. Thank you.
You have to get credit. You have to get credit for everything you accomplish.
You do, because most of the time, you're not going to get credit from anybody else. So you got to give it to yourself, right? Okay, who else? Thank you for sharing, Alexandra. Who else wants to share their primary color and what you like best about it? Okay, David, what's your primary color?
So my primary color is purple, and
Okay.
out of the wedge, it's just get things done. And
Yes.
I think at the end of the day, it's just for me a matter of, can I overcome anything that's popped up? Can we get a solution, and can we bring it to fruition? Which breaks that down for the need for accomplishment.
Yeah, I love that. Because in the military, things never pop up and get you off track, right? No. It always happens, right? All sorts of things come up, right? Yes.
Every day.
Every day, all day, right? Yes. So thank you for sharing. So we got 2 purples. What else do we have out there? Anybody else want to share? Okay. Anyone? Sydney.
Mallory?
Okay. Yes. Hi, Sydney.
I was just going to come in and say that oranges are the best because we have fun and everybody else is all, stick in the mud. So I'll stand up for all of us oranges and say, hey, life is to be lived, not endured. So.
Well said. Hey, you need us sticks in the mud to get things done. So, right? We all got to work together. But I love that. Yeah, I love that. Cass, did you have your hand up? Did you want to say your primary color, and then Lewis next? Cass? On hold. Okay, we'll go to Cass. Can you?
Hey, sorry, I'm still figuring this out.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
Oh,
I'm a yellow,
okay.
And I remember taking this course a while ago, and I can't remember what I got, but I think it was around there. And I definitely see that when I take this, and I think it's a really good reminder because sometimes I need to be a little less needing others' approval, and sometimes just either be an orange and have a little bit more fun, or be purple and be a little bit more organized and kind of be more focused rather than just trying to see what other people would like. But then I also am very, very close in blue. So I really do like order. And when you said the word expectations, I wrote that down. I was like, yep, I definitely have that.
Yeah.
And this is very helpful because, as you're saying, things do come up in the military, and just being aware of that, being focused when no matter what direction things go.
Yeah, and being a little bit flexible. What's hard about the yellows, and I don't know if you can agree with me on this one, is that sometimes you want everyone to be so happy and you want to take care of everyone that you put your needs on the back burner, and you don't take care of yourself necessarily as much as you should. So I don't know if that's true
Right.
for you. Yeah. But yeah, definitely want to make sure everybody's taken care of, but you got to take care of yourself at the same time. So there's that happy medium balance for that. Do you agree with that?
Absolutely. And I've seen that in my mom, and I'm grateful that I can see it now. That way I can work on it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. Lewis.
So I came up blue.
Okay.
And sometimes it's a function of my position in my job, but I really like to get stuff done, and I like to get stuff done with teams and with other people. But I know that one of my cautions is that sometimes I get so focused on tasks and knocking tasks off task lists that I often forget about people's feelings in the process, because accomplishing the task is far more important than people's feelings about how they accomplished the task. So I have to keep that in my mind and check myself as I go through things.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Again, it's that happy balance, that happy medium between getting stuff done and still being a team, having that unit cohesion, and making everyone feel included and everyone have a part of it. But again, also making sure you have that high work standard, getting things done by the suspense date that you have. It all has to work together. That's why it's so important that we have all of these primary colors, and that everyone represents one of the colors, because of course there's not one color that's better than the other, because we need them all to work together. Because again, if we had, yes, your oranges, like Sydney said, they're so much fun, but we can't have oranges all the time. We have to have a good mix of everybody together. So it's really, really important. So let's do one more. Does one more person want to share their primary color and what they like about being that primary color? Let's do one more.
Mallory, can you hear me?
Yes. Hi, I can
This
hear
is
you.
Kate.
Hi.
This is Kate from New Parent Support. Hi.
Hi,
Yeah,
Kate.
I've taken this over. I've taken this over the years. I always score pretty evenly between yellow and green, but I also score a smattering along blue, purple, and red because I'm in a lot of different settings and I have a lot of different hats, and I'm also with a variety of people in my job. And so I find that I kind of shift depending on what the task is and I'm a generalist as far as enneagrams go, and ENFJ as far as the other personality tests. So, it just basically depends on, but in general, the yellow and green is where I mainly am, which makes sense for social work and also for my job as in new parent support. So
yes, that's perfect. Thank you for bringing that. So Kate is one of our new parent support specialists. So she's a home visitor. So COVID time, virtual home visitors, right, Kate? Doing virtual visits and support groups, meeting outside.
And outdoors.
Outdoors. But she brought up a perfect point, is that depending on who you're working with, you may fluctuate within these primary colors. And that's where it's so important that you're self-aware of where you fall on this pie chart as far as your primary color, and that you're aware of the people around you and where they fall on as a primary color. Because of course we all want to communicate well together. We want to have a great team. We want to have a great family, a great relationship. So it really all comes down to communication and how can you communicate better. So if you're self-aware of where you're coming from, your pitfalls, your strengths, and you're aware of those same things in the people around you, then you can communicate better. In Kate's job, she has to meet with multiple families throughout the day. So you got to think about all the families and where they're falling on the primary color chart as far as their personality, and kind of tailoring how you come to them so that you're effective. That's a perfect point, Kate. Perfect point. Does anybody else have a comment? What else do you think about maybe communication or teams and relationships and being aware of your personality style? Anybody else have a comment about that?
Hey, real quick, I think it's this kind of self-awareness is super important, and especially when you work in small teams, which many of us do. Like I'm sitting next to my battle buddy who's very organized, very solutions oriented, and I'm like deep into the orange, like almost 40 points into the orange. So I'm like high energy, high octane, like just a chihuahua. But because I know that about him and he knows that about me, and we don't make any bones about it. Like he helps to kind of shape my energy to be effective, and without me being cognizant of my propensities and the shortfalls, if they're not checked, then he just kind of leans in, and I can energize him, and he can guide me, and we synergize, and we're better for it.
Yeah, that's perfect. What a perfect example. That was great. Thank you for sharing. Who else wants to share? Maybe I know that I had my spouse take this personality test, even though I had an idea of where he was going to fall. But he took the test, and then we were able to talk about it afterwards. And again, it just kind of gave you that better understanding of how you can, play off of each other's successes and play off of each other's weaknesses so that you make a great team, right? So who else wants to share of maybe a battle buddy or maybe a spouse or a friend, and how y'all kind of work together if you're maybe a different primary color than each other? David, what do you have? What do you think?
So I actually did a personality test like this with my children for a little bit of family reintegration after a couple of years, and basically just to figure out how we communicate and then how we receive each other's communications. And that was initiated by one of the programs you guys have over there, but just learning how others perceive us based off their personalities and what we think we're describing to them or explaining, and just the difference in their perception versus our perception of what message we think we're communicating. So it's important in the house because it helped us close the gap on a lot of just really small things that we hadn't experienced for a few years not being together. So I think it's a strong tool to use. And then also we have a majority of our section in this class here for kind of using it for the same purpose. So when we go back to work, we can help synergize, as Master Sergeant said, and make more effective use of our time and energy.
Yeah, no, I love it. That's perfect. That's perfect. Yeah, really, that's great that you're using it within your family, because, you know, you want to be aware of how your family is working so that you can better communicate with each other. So I love that y'all are using that to re-synergize. That was a great word. It was a great word. Who else wants to share? Oh, I know what I wanted to talk about. Perception. You brought up a perfect point and segue into something else that I'd like to talk about. Perception. So yes, I'll use myself as an example. I'm very self-aware of what I've got going on and what my opportunities for growth. Very self-aware of those. So me being a purple and a blue in a workplace environment, even though I am very focused on task and I get things done timely and I'm organized and I like things done a certain way, high expectations. So all of those things, people perceive, I've heard, and what I would be self-aware to know, that people can perceive that as being a know-it-all. They can perceive it as being like pretentious or a perfectionist. So being aware of that perception and just making sure that you don't fall into that. So that's a great segue into, if you're looking at your primary color, what are some misconceptions or some perceptions of your primary color that other people might have? That's not necessarily true. What do you think? Anybody want to share? I'll give one. Oh, here we go. Okay, Cass, what do you have?
I think a common misconception of yellow people is that they can get walked on, and that they won't speak up sometimes. But I think that's kind of when their secondary color will step in, and that really determines which way they'll go.
Yeah.
And then I think for me, I do tend to be more towards the I will speak up and I'll be more fair about things. And I really strive for that rather than just getting walked over. But
yeah,
sometimes there are times I'll just give in. But I'm pretty stubborn.
That's okay, right? As long as you're self-aware of that, then you're good. But no, that's a perfect point, is that you may perceive yellows as letting everybody do what they want to do because they want to make sure everybody's good and kind of being walked over. But most of the time, that's probably not the case. Like, they do genuinely want to make sure that everyone is taken care of and kind of letting everyone else have their part, and then they'll come in when they need to. So that was a perfect example. Who else has an example of like a misconception or what they would perceive as negative for their color, and it might not necessarily be true? Anyone? I'll give an example. If you read the attributes of the primary color of red, it might come across as somebody who might be mean and bossy, but that's usually not the case. Those people, I mean, they can have a temper, of course, it's part of the personality style, but those people are the ones that can come in and take charge of a situation. So you definitely want a red personality type in some situations where no one is taking the lead, because they would come in, grab a situation, make a plan, and move forward. So that's really why it brings us into, there's not one primary color that's better than another. There's not one primary color that's not good, because again, we need all of these personality styles to make a great unit, to make a great family, a great team, because you want all those experiences, you want all those backgrounds and opinions and knowledge bases, because that's what really makes great communication. It makes a great team when you have all those different types of people coming together. But a big thing to remember about your primary color is that you can't use it to like give you an excuse for bad behavior. Like if I'm a purple and I'm being super bossy and you know, a super perfectionist, and somebody's like, hey Mallory, you know, you need to calm down a little bit over here. I can't be like, oh, you know, I'm a purple, this is how I do things. Like, you don't want to use your primary color as an excuse for bad behavior. If you're a red primary color and you're being a little bossy, you don't want to say, hey, you know that this is how I'm going to be because I'm a red. Because of course, no personality style or type will excuse bad behavior. So you just want to be conscious of it and be self-aware so that you can work on it and know that that might be a trigger or something might come up that would cause that type of personality type to come out. But again, you can't use it as an excuse. So just like to plug that in there because we don't want anybody going off going like, well, y'all know I'm a red, so I'm going to be mean all the time. We don't want that. So, okay. So we're not going to go into, I'm not going to read this part for you or anything, but I highly recommend everyone read through. Let's see if I can get it, but read through the personality styles on page 3 and 4 because it goes over those pitfalls and it goes over the strengths. And I think it's really important for everyone to read all of the primary colors because again, that way you'll be able to recognize those type of styles within the people around you so that you can better communicate with them and kind of know where they're coming from. So I think it's a really great skill. It's a really great tool to understand personality types so that again you can have a better cohesion with whoever you're dealing with for sure. So okay, I think that's it. What questions do you all have about the primary colors, or does anyone else have a comment about personality styles or types? Anything else they want to share? Maybe a story?
Mallory, I would just share real quick that be careful about how the environment affects your personality because basically the pressures of your environment can morph you, so to speak, through submission or whatever into, you know, I guess mold you in a way and to do things outside of work to help revive those sides of you that are primary. That's how I put that.
Ooh, that is a perfect point, Kate. You're exactly right. So an example I could think of is if at home you're a yellow and you've got kids and people that you have to take care of all the time. And if you're constantly exerting that and everyone around you is, you know, you keep giving and giving and giving to everyone and you're not taking care of yourself, then we don't want that to happen. So I completely see that, especially if you have a military position or a certain type of career that's really demanding and you have to use one type of personality style more than another, making sure that you're taking care of yourself so that you don't get stuck into that hole. That's perfect, Kate. Thank you for bringing that up. What else? Does anybody else have a comment? Observation? Anything for the group? That is okay. So, doing a little plug here for Family Advocacy Program. Again, my name is Mallory Carmichael with Family Advocacy Program. So we offer all types of classes. This is just one of the classes that we offer. In the end, our goal is to prevent domestic abuse and to prevent child abuse. And how we do that is by education and knowledge. So we have Family Advocacy Program specialists like myself. There's 7 of us. New Parent Support Program, there's about 7 of them. And then we have victim advocates as well. So New Parent Support Program is for kiddos between 0 and 3. And they are registered nurses, they're licensed family therapists, basically children gurus. They teach classes, they have support groups, all to help these families alleviate some of that stress to make sure that they're a great, functional, healthy family. Then we've got victim advocates. So if someone is a victim of domestic abuse, it's a voluntary program that they can utilize to get benefits and support and resources. So if you're in an abusive relationship or you know someone who's in an unsafe relationship, you can reach out to us. Our phone number is 253-966-SAFE. and that's 7233. So again, that's 966-SAFE. And you can call that phone number 24/7 and talk to the victim advocates, and they can get resources to you. So again, if I've got leadership on the line, be sure you keep that with you. Everyone, it's a phone number for everyone to get you resources if you're in an unsafe relationship. So we use these 3 programs to try to build awesome, healthy Army families, because we want everyone to be productive and healthy and happy, so that is our job. So we have all sorts of classes. I'm going to put up one of our flyers. Well, I'll put it up at the end with some other classes that we have and some more contact information if anybody wants to reach out and has some additional questions. So I'm going to hang on the line a little bit longer if anybody has any questions or any comments or anything. I hope you all enjoyed it. I hope you got something out of it. And now you know yourself a little bit better. Maybe you know the people around you a little bit better. And I hope it's beneficial to you all. So thank you so much for your time. Y'all can go ahead and log off. But again, I'll stay on if anybody has any questions. So thank you, everyone. Have a great afternoon.